put that thing back right. I don't think it's gonna show up with the background removal.
You you what, mate?
You fucking what?
You fuck bottle what?
A bottle of water.
And it matches your sweatshirt.
Platform 9 3/4, mate.
Neighbor.
Gang, gang.
Ronald Weasley.
Stop.
Stop. Stop.
So
Speaking
yeah,
of sweatshirts,
wow.
guess what I laid on the couch in all day today?
Not your own vomit,
Not today.
dude. I went on a run. I'm all sweaty,
Nice.
sweaty confetti.
Played basketball with the kiddo yesterday after bowling 2 rounds.
Yeah,
I laid on the couch all day today. I thought I was going to die.
bowling pursuit.
My back, like, gone.
DED. When are you gonna go to a chiropractor?
I just plan on I'm just going to keep complaining about it. And then someday I'll die.
So I don't know. I've been going pretty consecutively now. And like before, he could like barely crack anything. Now I'm like an accordion, man. It's like crack, 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 crack. And he's like, there we go. And I'm like, kiss me.
You're as loose as a Catholic altar boy now, or what?
Yeah. I was
No,
like,
and
oh,
then like on the way home, I grabbed a pair of headlights because the old lady's car, she's been driving around for like 6 months without a headlight.
jeez.
So I went and bought them. Well, it turns out I bought high beams. So I was like, whatever, I'll just replace the high beams. And then I drove her car to go back for the regular headlights, and her windshield was like caked over with mud. So I go to, wash it off, just dry across the, not a
Just
drip.
metal on.
Yeah, not a drip of windshield wiper fluid. Um,
Well, good.
yeah. And then when I opened up the hood, I got some fluid for that. Got the
Hmm.
headlights, and then popped open the hood, and like the coolant cap was just
Yeah. You pop the hood and you're like, he's got enough nos in there to blow himself up.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, Ja Rule. What was that dude doing in that movie anyway?
What were any of those dudes doing in any of those movies?
Ja Rule wasn't in any of the subsequent movies. He got ripped off.
There's some holes in the plot, and I think that's not the worst. So,
Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, vehicle maintenance sucks. I'm over on mileage for my oil change so bad.
yeah, I don't have to worry about that. I do need to get some windshield wiper or windshield fluid.
I drive Kristen's car, like pretty much anytime she wants to go somewhere with me.
Really?
Just passenger princess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
driving if we're going anywhere.
Eh, I don't know how people do it. I assume that people that ride passenger also wear like open-toed shoes and shit like that.
Wear socks to bed.
Yeah. I'm gonna send that straight to our homeboy.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I've let her drive me like around twice, and it's not a comfortable feeling usually.
Yeah, I feel like I'm about to be given the curb a rim job from the passenger side every time. So,
What? So we bought her a Honda Pilot a couple years back, like a black edition, which is like supposed to be like the elite, but also kind of sporty or whatever. Uh, I hate that car. Like, it doesn't feel like it's connected to the road, like, at all.
Yeah.
Like, whereas my Tacoma, it's like you definitely feel connected to the road. I mean, the transmission's a slush box, but, like, you still feel connected to the road. Like, her car, it's got stop start, which is super
Mm,
annoying, and you have to turn it off every time. Uh, and then, yeah, it's just, like, the steering is terrible, like, the brakes don't feel the best. I hate
yeah.
that car.
I mean, mine drives a Kia Forte, so
Yeah,
and those things idle so high that like when you're slowing down and you let off the brake, your engine's still just ripping. So you're like
yeah,
your idle speed forward is like still super fast, and you feel
yeah,
like you're in a spacecraft in that thing because it's so low and
yeah.
RPM heavy.
I
Throttle
remember when you
response
had
is
a
good
Kia.
though. Yeah, I had an Optima.
Yeah.
I liked that Optima. Sport mode on the Optima. It
I
was
had someone try
responsive.
to talk me into the Stinger. They're like, "No, Stinger's a great car." And I'm like, "Dude, don't like stop."
I think Stingers are great cars.
No way,
Yeah,
man.
even the
Like if
K5. The K5 is a
no,
great car.
like if you compare it to like what you could spend on literally any other car, I'd rather buy like a clapped out like anything else.
Older one, yeah, yeah. If you wanted to get like a decade old sports car or something, then I would agree. But
How much are they new?
they're not that bad. Like, let's see. I think the K5 is even a better deal. And they have a GT. Yeah, 29,000 GT line.
That's not bad. And they're all-wheel drive. That's the difference here, right?
Well, look at the K5 GT. The K5 GT is 39.
But that's not a Stinger, right?
Uh, uh, no, it's not. But they're even crazier.
Really?
Yeah.
GT all-wheel drive. Uh what's the ponies on this thing?
0 to
290
60.
horsepower.
Yeah. Well, 200 horse on the all-wheel drive. I don't know. 0 to 65.4 for the K5. 290 horse on the GT.
I mean, sure. Like I don't know. I'd rather save up, I guess, a couple extra bucks and buy like a Lexus like 350 or something.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying, as far as Kia is concerned, that ain't bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to episode 22 Big Sleep Podcast.
I figured we would just do the intro at the end and you'd have to like
Nope.
invert it.
No, we'll just do this 10 minutes in. No problem.
There you go. You've captured the audience within the first 15 seconds and that's
Right. That's all that matters. You guys can
yeah.
dip at this point.
Like that meme
Deuces.
just slowly fade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, you stop by again.
Oh, yeah.
You're in town.
Yeah. Trying to, make it a point before I pass on to the next life.
Yeah.
Say hi to the homies.
Say
In
hi to
nome
the
de
Pope.
Patria et Filii, and Spiritus Sancti.
Yeah, you can go say hi to the Pope in the afterlife, man.
On Easter, nonetheless.
That's wild. Everyone's saying JD Vance killed him.
Yeah. Yeah. What planet are we on now?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, he was the last person.
He shook his
Whatever,
hand.
dude. I'm so sick of that shit.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Dude, I beat the entire quest line for the Dark Brotherhood on Oblivion today.
Yeah,
And then I just went and sat on the couch, watched YouTube.
vegged. I usually give you like a really hard time about microtransactions since you're like a whale without being a billionaire. But
Yeah.
um I have like some own what's it called? Like self-admittal, you know, I don't
Guilt.
know. I'm gonna yeah, it's about to be guilt. So Diablo 4 season 8 comes out today, or if it already came out today. I've never beat the game. I hate the game, quite honestly, but they have a Berserk theme,
Are you about to,
and like
I see where this is
I
going.
loved that anime. And I posted in the forums. I was like, "So how do you get it? Like, how do I earn this? Like, what's gonna be my quickest way to like get in, earn this, and get out?" And people are like, "You buy it." And so I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna like boot up the game, play his guts for a little bit, and then dip out.
And then bitch about it for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. God
Is
damn.
Overwatch have a Gundam crossover too? Is that what I saw?
Bro,
That's
if you're
so
asking
weird.
me what the latest news is on Overwatch, I hate to
I
break it
just
to
saw
you.
it on Reddit.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Yeah, the only thing that I've literally my whole day was dropped a kid off at school, used my whatever monthly Uber Eats like
Oh yeah.
$15 thing. So I slammed a little glizzy from Sonic and then
Nice.
finished up the Dark Brotherhood quest line. And now I'm kind of like, I've done Thieves Guild, I've done Dark Brotherhood, and then I was just kind of like looking around, like, now what?
What
Um,
are we doing?
and then honestly, like the last couple hours, I've been thinking about consolidating. And by consolidating, I don't mean save space, but I've got two U rack servers, like an old Dell R710, and then I've got a
Mhm.
JBOD underneath it. And I'm thinking about building a Epic, like single socket Epic server that's also for you, so I'm not going to be saving any space. But
Okay.
I'll have like 36 or 24 hot swap drive bays so that those two servers I could sell them and run everything on one device. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
That's that's crazy, man.
Dude. Hey, you can take the old R710 to your house, and that can be your home server and storage. And we can set up a storage sync.
Yeah. I was thinking the exact same thing.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go walk into traffic quick. I'll talk to you never. You,
Yeah. Mhm.
you can tell my daughter it was your fault.
uh yeah, I mean, I do need to get better at logging into your server. Especially like if we have other projects that we've talked about in the near future
Yeah.
that would require like more sharing. I will say it wasn't fast. I transferred a video from the server to my desktop, and it wasn't slow, but it wasn't exactly quick.
Yeah. Well, and some of our files, like some of the files that I've put on there, are pretty large.
Yeah.
And I don't. You're just transferring it directly onto your PC.
I think it was that time that I dorked up like audio, and so I downloaded or you dropped like a World of Warcraft. It was like a 3-hour video, so like
Yeah.
I fully expected it to, you know.
In 3440 by 1440.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 60 frames a second. Yeah.
That's what you post then? Like all
No,
your
that's
videos are 1440?
uh all of my channel's videos are 3440 by 1440, and then I upscale
Oh,
them to
jeez.
4K on top of that. So,
I didn't realize you were rich. I'm a 1080p baby at
well,
best.
the 4090 with the like new NVENC encoding and stuff like that. I mean, it tears through. So that brings me to my point. I was thinking we should try, or there's a program I want to try. It's like a remote desktop, but
Okay.
better. Like you can do all operating systems on it, and it
Hmm.
can be over web. And I wanted to test the speeds from your house if I set up a server here. And you may be able to just remote in to my video editing computer
Mm.
and use like the full-fledged Blackmagic Studio, and all that stuff. The other thing I was going to suggest too is your video editing software. I don't know if yours can do it, but just link the share drive as your video editing's pool where it gets the videos from.
Like OneDrive?
Well, like you don't even have to download the video to your computer. You can just use that share drive as your video editing video location.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
drag it directly into your timeline, edit it,
Yeah,
and you
that
know what I
makes
mean?
sense.
You don't have
Yeah.
to download it because the system should have access to it if you set it up correctly.
CapCut is what I've been using, and they're facing some pretty heavy scrutiny. I mean, just like any free,
Yeah.
program, they've turned all their stuff to the little
Paywall.
freemium paywall. Yeah, so yeah, everything's a subscription.
Yeah, I'm down to buy a lifetime pass. Like if your stuff's
To
good,
avoid.
and I mean Black
Yeah,
Magic, there's updates all the time, and
yeah.
I'm not paying. You know,
I don't know. Does Da Vinci have
that is Black Magic, Da
has
Vinci.
Black Magic?
Hmm.
Okay, and they have a lot of like paywall stuff.
No,
Uh, honestly, like I don't know. I probably just pirate what's Adobe's After Effects. Like Adobe deserves it anyway. Anyone that pirates their crap, they deserve it, man. Adobe's been ripping people off for years.
yeah,
Adobe's up there with like insurance companies and
they're like
banks.
above Apple.
Uh,
Yeah,
they
it's
deserve
rough.
it.
Um, did you? I probably not, but I just finished watching Gamers Nexus's video on the tariffs,
Oh yeah.
and he went to a bunch of places: Corsair headquarters, talked to the CEO, Height, Cyber Power, iBuyPower, Protocase, the people who
Yeah.
do the like Stornator.
Hmm.
Um, Pretty wild. And then it looks like they just did some relief on the tariffs for computing supplies. But like Height, for example, their whatever Height 40 or Y40, like $100 case.
Yeah.
If all the tariffs went into effect, it was going to cost them. So they make $5 a case
Yeah.
when they sell it for 100, or they sell it to the retailer. The retailer actually makes more money than the manufacturer does. Um, but just to get it into the country, it would have cost like $196
Hmm.
for a $100 case. So they would have been losing like over $100 per case if they sold them for the price.
I I don't know. I mean, I have no guilt. I have no shame. I have no like I don't care. I'm okay to suffer like I'm okay to like have some self-inflicted pain and face some hurt at the cost of not buying Chinese shit.
Yeah,
Like
but what's the
people.
alternative in tech though?
Well, that's it. We need to build it here. If it's not here, then we need to build it here. Like a DJI, for example.
Yeah, but where
Why
we
isn't Milwaukee making
I know, but like,
drones?
and
Like
I'm on board with that. I'm down because I know it's gonna
Milwaukee
hurt.
TTI Tools, which is China too.
Yeah, well, and I understand like the interim pains. I'm okay with that, and I get the sentiment behind getting it to come to America. But like slapping the tariffs that we have on like a single day, there's no recourse. Like we're not. It's gonna take us. 30 years to be
Yeah.
able to get up manufacturing plants where like a company that makes cases is next to a company that makes the screws is next to a company that does the like we don't even have silicon.
Yeah. Well, I think that I don't know. Unfortunately, the U.S. is always like the good guys, right? At least in my opinion. And they're not going to play the same copyright games that China's playing. For me, I if I was king for the day, I would copy a DJI drone bit by bit, slap a Ryobi sticker on there, or I don't know, some American Levi Jean Co. and be like, "What's up? You know, it's made in America." Like you do this to literally every single one of our products. So
That
like it's gloves off. We'll do it back to you.
yeah, that completely different topic, but 100% agree. Like and we should have done this long time ago. Just set something in place that says if I can't adjudicate anything for copyright in your country, then we're not going to do business. Like
We
you,
don't have a trade embargo, yeah, at all,
well,
like
make it simple. If the you hold a civil litigation court without China or whoever's
mhm.
copywriting your shit, and if an independent court finds that it uh, is against your copyright or trademark or whatever, then that item gets blacklisted for import.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it doesn't block, like, the other
Right.
75% of the world from, like, all
Yeah.
those European dudes from buying it, but yeah.
Yeah. And I do agree with the tariffs that it's putting pressure on China. The problem is there's a ripple effect where American companies get fucked over too. Like an example in the tech industry, think of all of the small companies, even the boutiques or the low employee groups that do things like assembly on any product, on any electronic. All of the parts that they get, it's an American based company. They do all the assembly. They hire 200
Yeah.
employees. They're manufacturing here. They're using parts that they can from America, and the other parts that they can't get. You're not going to see anyone making a motherboard here in the United States that's mainstream or good for, I would argue, close to a decade. And I think that's being conservative
Yeah.
because to source all of that stuff and to get the logistics to make that work, one, all of that stuff you're going to have to source from other countries to begin with, which is going to make it non-viable because of the tariffs, all the materials. So you can't even be an American company and want to start the things that everyone's saying we should start manufacturing because it'd be impossible. Especially now with tariffs, it's even less possible to do it. But these assembling companies that are getting as many parts as they can from America, some of the parts they have to get from overseas. And so they can't even start that now because it's not viable. Like, what is it? Cyber Power is mostly US, and their market share is like 90%. Like, of all the stuff that they do, it's like 90% US. And they're getting absolutely tanked. Like, if they didn't have
Yeah.
this relief, they would be out of business in probably a couple months. And you just destroyed an entire American based company.
I mean, yeah, the foundation of the product needs to be made here, though. Like what you're saying about motherboards, I mean, I think that, like, the good part about it is AI in manufacturing is, like, we're about to get ridiculously efficient and like like where you and I might even disagree to like universal basic incomes and stuff like that like eventually
Yeah.
um but
But
like
not if the
it
cost is 300% higher. You think Nvidia's like the
I,
AI
I don't think that we should
age?
give them the option. Like everything should be made here. Your country should be self-sufficient before it should even almost be like allowed to trade
Oh,
exchanger.
100%. Yeah, I agree with that.
So
Like we moved away from the industrial age, and I understand
yeah,
that.
well, we've been bought out. Like our middle class doesn't exist anymore because everything is made in China.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, and that goes for the global market. I mean, it's
Yeah.
China is the biggest implication to all of this, but I mean, even companies that are moving to Taiwan, best case scenario, if you want
Oh,
the
baby China.
if you want the quickest pathway to having manufacturing get pulled from China and help the US economy is if manufacturing goes back to Mexico.
I, and we should be fine with that. Mexico should be
Yeah.
like
I think that'd be
head over
fine
heel if we did that.
because we could have a trade agreement. Like, if you want to talk about the North American trade agreement and all the stuff that caused, it wouldn't have been such an issue if we actually traded
Yeah.
properly with Mexico and Canada. I mean, Canada has warehouse space like you couldn't imagine. That could
Yep.
be a completely import export territory with all the manufacturing occurring, or most of the manufacturing occurring in Mexico, and then all of the
Yeah.
assembly occurring in the United States. And you could have this three-way, like, awesome trade agreement where everybody benefits and knock out these low wage areas. Another thing too is nothing's getting manufactured, especially like in a product line in America demanding $25-$30 an hour. It's not
Yeah.
plausible, and no one's going
For
to
the
work in a
wages.
factory
Yeah.
for $7 an hour.
Wages are too high. I mean, everything's just way too inflated right now. And I mean, to the fact that of like, it brings it back around. Like my biggest gripe, like the American dream, like the meme or the GIF image of like me trying to like me watching the American dream leave my body.
Mm,
It's like as I pay 40 different tax, like it's the truth, man. Why do I have to work and like my spouse has to work so much just to afford like a semblance of the same life that like people from 30, 40 years ago did.
yeah.
Like, and then they're gonna be mad about their 401ks. I watch these videos about like the people who are like protesting against Trump right now, and it's all these Karens with like 401ks and crap like that. And it's like, I don't give a shit about your money. You didn't give a shit about me whenever like you essentially tanked the economy to the point that where like me and my spouse have to work like
Well, and if
as
they're out
much as we do.
protesting, they're not at work.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's that. That would be the long-term goal, is if we follow through with this type of trade agreement practice that we're doing now, we get rid of taxes. And that's where I
Yeah.
said I get the sentiment, because he is right. You know, if he started this whole tariff thing just to say screw China, I would be less on board. I still get the sentiment, but I'd be less on board because there's not really a pathway to where Americans directly benefit. But if you're saying, hey, we're doing this to screw China and we're going to stop quadruple taxing things or income tax, okay, now you might be able to argue that if we brought manufacturing back here and there was an income tax and
Yeah.
there wasn't all these other forms of tax, $7.50 an hour sounds terrible right now in today's economy. But if you start getting rid of all this other stuff and these taxes, that could be a viable wage,
Yeah.
which is another reason why I don't think that there should be a federal minimum wage. I think the federal government should incentivize our economy to not even have to worry about that. I mean, if we're producing enough stuff and we're not getting taxed to hell and the middle class isn't getting destroyed, we wouldn't be sitting here having a conversation about what minimum wage is. Because if you didn't offer a good enough wage, people just wouldn't take it, and there'd be plenty of other job opportunities available.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there still are a lot of job opportunities. Like I could walk away from my job right now and
Yeah.
like find something.
Well,
Uh,
the
especially like in the federal market, like like they're so volatile right now. Like they're hiring people and then they're dumping them all again. Like I could
yeah.
literally play hopscotch.
Well, and this whole protesting and argument and all this stuff about, unemployment and stuff, I hate to break it to the world here, but I don't think it matters what wage you offer to the majority of the people that are on unemployment. They're not going to accept it. I mean, you're telling me that you could get rid of most unemployment by offering people $30 to $50 an hour, and you think that unemployment's just going to tank. I got news for
Yeah.
you. That's probably not going to happen.
I don't know. I'm not bothered by a certain. I expect that there's going to be a certain amount of unemployment, no matter what, like a percentage of it. I don't think it needs to be as high as it is right now,
Especially when it's incentivized.
but yeah, I mean, I've been on unemployment. I've been on unemployment, and I rode that train for a little bit, and I tried to see how long I could ride that train. I mean, I eventually wanted more money, so I get a real job. But
Yeah.
at the time, I mean, I was probably, I don't know, 20, maybe 21. It was enough money to go out and get drunk every weekend and still live like comfortably.
Yeah. And that
But
shouldn't exist. Like,
yeah,
I don't think that should exist. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There's people that you could offer the world to, and they're not going to take it if it requires 1 ounce of effort on their part. And
yeah,
until we stop incentivizing that, I mean, this really could. I know people are going to shit on it, but like, the idea is there. The implementation is very rash. I
yeah.
will say that.
I think that like I mean, because I hate Republicans almost as much as I hate Democrats sometimes, and I mean I hate them both. Is what I'm saying. And where Republicans lose is with some of their like free market like talk that like the bank stuff that we talked about. Like you want to pretend like you're doing stuff for America first, you're putting American people first, but then you're gonna turn around and let insurance companies, uh, completely rip off every single person in the US, like,
Yeah,
during every single storm. You're gonna let banks hike up overdraft charges that are not waiverable. Like, and meanwhile, we're all suffering Trump turning on tariffs and then turning them back off, but they're playing the game up there. Like it's all just part of the game, man. Uh they're riding, they're riding it. They're selling and then turning the tariff back on, and then they're buying in the low, and then and then they just do it all over again. And I mean, if I was Trump, I would do the same thing right now. Like I just keep pumping my money back up every
yeah.
single time.
Well, obviously he's not able to do that, but yeah, I mean the rest of Congress could,
I mean,
and we can't
he's
too.
yeah,
And I have, you know, like, it would be asinine for someone not to be taking advantage of probably one of the biggest market shifts in our
yeah.
lifetime, next to
It
COVID.
is comical because like I mean that's what Trump has been saying since like the early 90s. Like he's been accusing China of doing this. Like if you go watch any
Oh,
of his old
80s.
videos,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I find it absolutely hilarious that he's doing it right now.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it.
Some form of this needed to happen.
Yeah.
And if you deny that, one, I question if you have like an original thought, because everybody of yesteryear would have agreed with that, and prior
Yeah.
administrations have agreed with that. Now, if all of a sudden you don't agree with that, then it sounds like you're just playing politics at this point, because it doesn't make sense. You can't be on both sides of the fence,
Yeah.
a few years apart.
I find the people that are all disagreeing with a lot of it, either they just blindly hate Trump, or they have like a profile picture of like them punching Hitler, or just some bullshit, man.
Oh,
Like they think that like the US is fascism. Like these are people who are against their own country. Like they're willing to sell out their own country.
well,
Like
and
and they want to frown upon like nationalism to some extent, right? And like stomp on the American flag, which you have the right to do, but like to a fault. Like you can't do it 24/7. Like you like if you want to be proud in the flag and make it better, you can't stomp on it like 360, or else
yeah.
you're not going to win any hearts and minds that way.
Well, and that's the thing, is they don't care. I mean, they're not out looking for any of that. They just want to be rebellious. But and I understand that there's an argument like because I don't think this is a free market. We're not in a free market right now, and I know that the shitheads that are against that thought. Oh my god. Would argue like, oh, conservatives are always saying, uh, we make fun of the fact that they say that, well, this isn't real socialism, and they use the same thing. The difference is when socialism isn't real socialism, it ends in genocide. And when free market isn't really free market, the middle class just dissolves. And I think one is better than the other. So I won't get behind that argument. But yeah, like this stuff needed to happen. I don't feel bad about it. I do think that it is going to have a pretty bad effect. I mean, think of even putting these tariffs out and turning them off, right? That has a negative impact because all these businesses either took a major loss while the items were importing, or they thought they were doing the smart thing by not ordering during this time because of the prices
Yeah.
fluctuating. And they're like,
Or they couldn't afford it.
well, most of the stuff is bought on credit and
Mhm.
you don't pay until it gets imported, right? So if you made a risk of spending $100,000 on a product and your credit line is 150,000, and then that product gets here and they're like, this is $200,000 now. Can you even accept the import? And if you don't accept it, you already paid the 100,000. It's not like they can just turn the ship around, or
Yeah.
that manufacturer, wherever it is not going to be like, oh, I'm
Liquidate it.
ever
Yeah.
going to do business with you again because you didn't accept my shipment. And anything they do take in, if they can't afford it, they either have to sell at a loss or mark up the price and no one buys it. So it's sitting in a warehouse for the next year and a half because they can't even afford to sell it. It screws over a lot of people. But
Yeah.
assuming they didn't order it, that's 2-3 months worth of stock after the wait for shipping that they no longer have now, and they've lost that profit during that time. So they're going to have to extrapolate that cost into the next few months of sales. So prices will have to go up either way. Like they still had to continue paying wages to these people when they weren't selling product. They had empty warehouses that they had to pay, rent for. So
I mean, yeah, but meanwhile, there are U.S. U.S. companies with with China ties that and they'll throw away a product instead of selling it at not even like a loss, like just not within profit margins, like exponential profit margins. They're willing to throw away the product so that way they can maintain their intellectual property as I'm talking about fucking iPhones here. Like a through the roof like fashion statement instead of just selling it at just over like minimal MSRP.
yeah, I can agree or disagree on that based on the sector. Technology margins are pretty whack. Like a lot of technology margins are very low. Um, Even in like the laptop.
Luxury. They're luxury margins. Like Apple, Gucci, like
Well,
they're comparative.
so I don't know. I don't agree
Like
with that
Gucci's
at all.
kind of trash now, but
Yeah. Well, like Gucci can make something and have a 400+% margin. If you do anything in the tech industry, Apple might be an exception on some of this stuff, but like margins 5% to 15%, like on a good day, and that's a huge range. And then you're making that money and then you're giving it to a retailer who's actually probably making more money than you, the manufacturer.
Mhm.
So realistically, the retailer should be taking the brunt and not necessarily the company that's producing the product, in my opinion.
Then get rid of fucking car dealerships, bro.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Car dealerships are a scam.
Well,
What are they selling me?
yeah,
Like they're selling me
there's a place for
what?
brick and
Like
mortar though, because you can't tell me that if there wasn't like a Best Buy or NFM or any physical location to go and speak to someone about it or get product recommendations or something, like there'd be a lot of people that would not be able to function in the United
I mean,
States.
Apple has their own stores. I mean, just because I can buy it at Best Buy as well. Yeah, I will say, like Best Buy gives more exposure to some of the smaller, like Sonos wouldn't have their own store in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, the other things inside Best Buy that probably contribute the most to keeping Best Buy afloat, uh, Apple, Samsung, uh,
you'd be surprised.
LG.
Margins on
Like,
so a lot of the laptops that were sold at Best Buy were for a loss or zero margin. They make
yeah,
money on the
brutal.
accessories and all of that
Yeah,
stuff.
and
Um,
the what's it called? Credit cards.
yeah,
Um, but also like, care packages, like the support,
service. Yeah.
yeah, service packages.
Yeah. And I understand why retailers feel like they have to keep high margin. The overhead is exponentially higher than anyone else. You know what I mean? That's premium uh like retail locations, you know,
Mhm.
like real estate that you're paying for. I mean, you're paying for employees, you name it. So I get the margin side of things, but it is crazy that the person who produces the product makes less money than the retailer.
Um, I mean, but China can afford it. They've hated, capitalism since, like, our conception of it, at least our
Mhm.
idea, the American ideal, our idea of capitalism, and like they are capable of creating pocket capitalism strictly to overthrow ours, right? Like and they're willing to work their people to death just to make it happen, uh, and
Yeah.
so that way they can eventually get to their communist utopia. Um,
Well, and anybody arguing for communism should go be try out lower class China working on a production line for not enough money. And all these people complaining about it and complaining about the tariffs. One, it makes me feel like you are cool with the taking advantage of foreign labor and essential slavery.
yeah,
Like, is that what you're arguing for?
that for sure. Yeah, it's a party that wants to keep Mexican people here to run ag and then
Yeah.
continue to buy, like, and again, it's the same people. Like you see them, I saw on Facebook and they're posting like, "Oh my god, Timu is charging me a tariff fee or something." And I don't know if that's true or not, but it's like 120% like what their cart costs. And I'm like, "Good. Like good."
Yeah.
You were going to buy like a 2 million pack of erasers. Like
Yeah.
made from, who even knows what? Like formaldehyde and
So
red 40. I don't know, man. Like,
if they want to fix the tariff thing, do it on commodities. Don't do it on anything that has additional manufacturing to America. Like anything that's
like
going to end up being assembled in America or modified in America or something like that, that American consumers are going to use after American hands touch it and American
yeah,
wages are paid. Make an exemption on that. If you're buying a complete system that is a commodity for retail to US citizens, tariff that. That would make
yeah,
sense to me because then American jobs can continue, American assembly can continue, and we're not in this consumerism, you know, commodity
yeah.
thing. That'd fix a lot
I
of
played
stuff.
I really I do hate like trading games and like economy games, strictly for this reason. But like I've played enough of them to know that like trade is never balanced, and quite honestly, that's the beautiful part of it, right? Like the US steel industry, right? Like Russian oil. Like it becomes this like
Global
perfect
market.
harmony, right? Of a global market. And and I understand that and I can appreciate that. But I still think that there needs to be the comparison and the contrast of like, is a country charging you? Sorry, do you hear that?
Yeah.
Uh, they're killing kids up there. Um, like, is a country charging you more tariffs, like overall, than
Oh, he's getting on the phone.
than? Yeah, I'm
He's like,
texting upstairs. Can you
hit
tell
hit
you
those
sons
kids.
of bitch? Uh, but yeah, are they charging you more in tariffs? And I know we talked about like different, like is it third world country? Is it China? Is it Canada? Canada ain't got no right to be charging us more in tariffs as our neighbor. Like if, th-
But they have to. See, and that's where global market, in my opinion, I'm okay with the global market. Um, the only thing is, and I agree that there's imbalance in trade, but it is the country's responsibility that if they have an imbalance, because we don't have a lot of raw resources, right? So,
I mean, we do. We just don't.
yeah, but uh, liberals, they don't want to dig into the ground. But
This is good too, though. Like, we're
yeah,
not doing that. We're making other countries dig their shit up.
we are the cleanest. Anything manufactured in the United States is the almost the cleanest method of
Yeah,
manufacturing that product. um,
yeah,
and with the least amount of taking advantage of labor. But right now, we don't have a lot of raw resources. So we will have a trade imbalance on raw resources. But that just means we have to pivot our focus monetarily into a different form of manufacturing. So I think a good option would be assembly, right? There's nothing that prohibits the United States from being an assembly industrial company like form,
yeah.
and that could be where we make our money. Um,
Services. Yeah,
yeah. So if there is a spot where you have a trade imbalance on the wrong end of the stick, then you need to make up for that, maybe from four different other countries to make up for that imbalance. And
right.
everybody kind of shifts and finds their focus until the global market is balanced, or at
I think.
least a baseline, because it'll always be imbalanced, but it's going to ebb and flow just like the market.
Yeah. Where it becomes an issue is how each individual item plays into like modern warfare. Like for example, we rode into World War II, guns a blazing, right? Like and we had the stock, we had vehicles, we
We
had engines.
transformed
Like
the United States.
yeah, yeah, paper mills. We did a lot of cool stuff. China is currently manufacturing drones.
Hmm.
We and each one of those drones is capable of a payload of some sort or size. We just don't have that. And so yeah, I get pretty frustrated when I look at that scale for like I mean our gross domestic product is still way larger than theirs. Like we overshadow them. But it's not looking pretty
Like,
for
what do
the
you
next 20,
mean?
30 years.
In production or what?
Like just our like overall GDP, like the GDP value. Like we have a larger GDP than them still.
Yeah, well, I mean, relative. Yeah, because GDP is relative to
Yeah.
import
Like
export.
people and everything else. Yeah. It takes
Yeah,
everything
but they
into account.
definitely make like more money by GDP because America is their number one
Big
consumer. I
consumer.
mean, we're the world's consumer.
Yeah.
Anybody that produces anything is getting it. Like, we're buying
Well, it's because we literally just print our money.
it. Again, not an open
Uh,
market, right? My daughter's
Is
blowing
that
me up
you
on her
texting
watch. No,
my wife
she's
to shut the
calling.
kids up too?
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, we didn't discuss your daughter pointing at me and saying "dada" multiple times. Is there anything
yeah,
we need to talk about?
I don't know, man.
Is there something I don't know about?
I mean, is what it is.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Just when I come to collect, don't fight it
Yeah.
because I'm a
Uh,
dude like Tree Fitty.
do you want to talk about potential rollout things that we might be doing? That's kind of your bread and butter.
Um, I do. I want to talk about like the Discord. So we kind of peaked there for a little bit. We went from like 50 people on the Discord to like 66, and then now we're like down one or two, which is fine. Yeah, like you said, like everything flows. It would be nice to get like more people to participate in there. I would like to. I'm not opposed to like gaming with almost anybody. Like when we game, like politics go out the window. So I think that we could game with almost anyone,
For
and that would
someone with a
be
healthy mindset, yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Someone relatively resilient,
Yeah.
especially if it's PvP games. But yeah, I think we have a pretty decent vibe going in the gaming world. Um, other than that, we have like the clothing stuff, and we talked about a website. I think we kind of disagree like on the layout for the website, so I'm hoping to pick at you a little bit more on that. I like the old school forum style, and I know that you're more leaning towards like the newer, like um like
I,
hub based
I'm not
format.
against it. I'm just saying, as far as like ease, you know.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I'm not against having like left hand row style menu system, and
yeah.
it would work for how what the
How
pipelines that we
little?
have.
Yeah, yeah.
So
There shouldn't be so much that it floods, but that means so we're gonna have a website soon, um, and we'll be able to distribute that URL, and we're both hoping that that website will show like each like subsidiary of the Big Sleep as like an IP, and then we can try different things because I mean for years me and you have been talking about like look at me copying you, uh
match pace
like we've been
lead.
talking about like different ideas, and you know what little audience we have. If I could roll them back to 2017 slash 2018, like we were upstairs on my couch and we had a whiteboard and we were just writing down like ideas on how like excuse me, on how we were like gonna get our shit together
Mm-hmm.
and straight grind. And like some of the ideas were like, hey, we're gonna make our own clothing. And it was like we were gonna bleach clothing or like kind of like tie dye, but we were gonna dye clothes essentially. Um, and we looked at like um press clothing or printed clothing companies, and sure enough, like fast forward, and here we are. The only
Yeah.
problem is immediately after we talked about this, I decided to like go get cancer, and you know and then COVID happened, and
You
then fast
douche.
forward, you're like 30 something.
Yeah.
So
Time
um
passes you by, bro.
yeah.
But
So yeah, I mean we talked clothing. We talked I think at one time we wanted to do like LARPing or whatever it's called. Like it was
oh, we were watching
medieval
videos of
combat
the.
sports. Yeah.
Hey, you know how big that got, by the way? I mean, that's huge
I don't know.
now. There's
I watch people
tournaments.
on YouTube do it still, but not like
Yeah.
MMA style. It's like reenactment style.
Oh no, they've got. They're like renting MMA rings and doing full scale tournaments in the
Crazy.
octagon. And we were talking
I
about
don't
this just years ago. Like this is gonna be
yeah.
hot, you know.
Good. Good. Yeah, I can't think I might still have the whiteboard somewhere, but I mean, that was just 2 of the ideas that we talked about. We talked about doing podcast stuff, we talked about doing, like, YouTube stuff,
Music.
and music has always been on the back burner for us. Um, yeah. I mean, and you and I had YouTube channels way
Hmm.
back when, like, o open box stuff was pretty popular, and, like, I mean, YouTube was like a desolate wasteland then,
Yeah.
like, it was the good times, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you fast forward. I mean, I'm glad that we're doing something. This keeps me busy, and, like I said, it's all about, like, stress levels too. Like,
Mm.
this isn't stressing me out right now, so,
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
my daughter is like, I need a big sleep hoodie or something like that. And I was like,
Oh, there
okay.
you go.
So if you go on there, I have a kid friendly one. I'm like, I don't know about the dude taking a toaster bath.
Yeah.
Um, so I did one of it, like a dude making a sandcastle. And I'm like, there you go.
There you just licking a battery instead of a toaster.
Yeah. Um, that, oh, I got something to admit to you. I got dressed in the dark the other day, but I apparently put on that red long sleeve shirt
Yeah.
and it doesn't have like the big sleep on it, but it's similar to this logo. You know, you've seen it.
Mhm.
Uh, and my daughter had some school event, and I was just out and about with her because we went bowling and whatever. So we went by the school. She's like, "Well, there's people here now. Let's go in." And I was like, "Okay." And literally the whole time, everybody that talked to me was just staring at the logo on my chest, and I was like, "Yeah, you know." And my these are very awkward people, like social
Yeah.
butterflies, and I was like, some guy started walking up to me from like half the room away and was like, I don't think I've met. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
boy. And then like five other dads came and sat down next to me, and I could just see them staring at the logo as they're talking to me, and I was like, oh god damn it. But
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
We talked about, I'm just gonna go ahead and whip it out on the table.
I figured you were gonna bring
Improv.
this up first. Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about doing some improv, and
That was you whipping it.
despite you saying you're
Yeah.
interested, I still am just not entirely confident.
I
Like, I
am
need to hear
interested.
it from the horse's mouth.
Dude, so here's the deal. Nick it gets really worked, like he'll think of an idea and he's like, this is my life now.
Yeah.
And you run with
It's
it,
because
which is
it's because if we
perfect.
don't,
100%. I'm a
then we end up
procrastinator. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you 100%. I'm saying it's perfect, like our matchup. And that's what I was trying to portray to you when I was messaging you about it, is like, I'm glad that you are like this because I'm not. And the right answer is somewhere in the middle. Um, but like, you know how it is, man. I've got a kid running around me. I've got like three freaking animals jumping on my face. We were doing all that stuff that I was talking about. Um, yeah, furries. But like I was doing stuff, and you'll give me this idea, and it's like you're sitting at home and you have like 5 minutes to think about it. So you hit me with it, and I'm in the middle of something, and I'm a one word response guy.
yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, everybody hates me for it, but like when I say what I say, I mean it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
no matter how small it is. So if someone's like, "What do you think of this idea?" Blah blah blah. Here's a whole layout, and I go, "That sounds
Yes.
good." Yeah,
No, that's not what you say. It's like, "Hey," everyone's like, "Oh my god, look at this. What do you think about this?" Yes.
that's my seal of approval, brother.
No.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't like it, I would tell you. But I also have to have time to mull things over, like in my head, to wrap my head around things. So I'm very much like that. So I know that I need to move a little faster, and that's what I was saying. Is like it's a good match because you can be the ambitious one and force me to move a little quicker than I'm comfortable with, and then I'm here just to like pump the brakes every once in a while. Like maybe.
Yeah. So let me if you will. Here's my problem is I run into this obviously, I mean, it's myself and I'm relatively self-aware. Uh I've ran into this problem often in my life. Uh but then I end up putting in a lot. I
Yeah.
mean I mean, you looked at the Discord, I had 3 pages worth of scripts by the time you looked at the Discord. And
Yeah.
so
And I was
I
watching it update. I had
yeah.
it up on my screen and I was watching it update.
Oh, so you were at your computer.
Later in the before you deleted it, yeah, I was watching
Hey,
it.
ladies and gentlemen, he said kids. He was playing fuck. He was playing the
It's
game.
Oblivion, bro. No.
It was Oblivion. Um, but yeah, I mean, like same thing with like class projects, like the ADHD style. Like if I'm not interested in it, then like I don't partake in it at all. Like you cannot convince me. But and I'm very clear about like I do not want to be part of this project.
Yeah.
Um, but if I am interested in it, then like you're gonna get a lot out of me. But then I get burnout is if I feel and I'm not talking about us specifically, but like if I feel like I'm doing like a lion's share in
Yeah.
like a group, and then because then I I feel like at that point what's the other 20% for me to not to reap the rewards myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And I'm definitely with that too. Like and there's going to be ebb and flow with that too. You know what I mean? It's like a relationship. It's like
yeah,
it's never 50-50. Sometimes it's 60-40, sometimes it's 55-40, you know what I mean? And it changes.
yeah,
But like I'm definitely more I'm not very creative. So I'll put that out there. But I like the logistics and the small stuff, like making sure things line up and do all that stuff. Like when we first started, right? I'll edit these
yeah,
videos and then you're putting out like the chats and the comments and stuff like that. And then when you make a short, I make sure that it gets on all the platforms. Like I think it's a good match. And there's going to
yeah.
be
I
stuff
think
that ebbs
that's
and
pretty fair
flows. But
for right now.
especially when you get on the creative side, you can hit the ground running on the creative side. And a lot of that is going to be front loaded you because I'm not great at that. And the only way for me to pick up my side of that is when there's work to do from what your idea is. So there's not an immediate
Yeah,
result of me doing something until you start doing that stuff. And then I pick up, the stuff that
yeah,
can't be done. Um, and I think that's going to be normal. And I didn't want you to delete it for sure. I was reading through it and then I came back to it and it was gone. And that's another typical thing is if you don't have the full support on
yeah.
board, you light that shit on fire. It doesn't matter what it is. You're like, we're done. Like
Discord
this is
turns, man.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just self-destructive.
yeah.
I talked to the
I
old
mean,
lady about it. I'm like, cause she's like, well, why did he do this? And I'm like, dude, I've known you for years, and
yeah.
I'm like, you just got to give him a couple days. Like he goes through these spurts where, you know,
Well, I didn't know who all because I don't know Discord very well either, and I was trying to figure out because if it had admin access or moderator access, and
uh,
I thought it was just you, but I thought I was essentially sharing a script with like 4 or 5 other people too that like I didn't trust. So
oh yeah. I mean, we have the moderator only, and that is just mods. And then
okay,
when you click the channel, you can change it to who has access. But the mod only is already set up for mods only,
okay,
mods and admins. And then every moderator that we have is somebody I know personally.
okay,
So
fair enough.
yeah, you don't
But
have to
yeah,
worry
I
about
mean,
that.
there was I even with the non-understanding of Discord, 75% of it was just like, ah, fuck it. I've already purchased $130 worth of costumes. I've already written 3 pages worth of scripts, and like, and it's not that I don't want to include you. I mean, I very obviously do. Like, I mean, I'm trying to coerce you into it,
Yeah.
but like, I I mean, there's other successful people on on Facebook that, like, I mean, it's where it's a one man show.
Yeah.
Um, so I was trying to convince myself of what do I want? And so I prematurely maybe like posted it up, but I would prefer to do it with you because I
Yeah.
think that we used to improv at work. Like,
Yeah. I mean, we call each other, and every phone call is an improv for the first 10
yeah.
minutes. And then we're like, so what the fuck did you call me for?
And by that time we don't remember.
No. And I'm okay with like doing your own venture thing. It's just if we're embarking in this,
Yeah.
I'm cool if you do the own venture thing as long as it's not taking away from our plans here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
balance right now is, and I'm sure people like watching this know, we have our own YouTube channels, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that's what I do for me on the side, and that's what
Yeah.
you do for you on the side. And then everything else is like, this is the plan going forward for this IP or
Yeah.
whatever. So, not a no compete, but like kind of like,
I I think I mean, just to bring it all back around, I think that I enjoy the like the brevity, I or not brevity. I enjoy like the freedom of us having our own YouTube channels, but also that we both associate them with the big sleep.
yeah,
And I'm hoping that's where the website goes is clothing, streamers, like other because we know other people that do this, not podcast, but like stream, or they've always wanted to get into content. And some of them like vary in political spectrums and
yeah,
race, religion, and everything else. Um, so it would be nice to like not even like contract, but like have people underneath the same IP, or like underneath the same umbrella.
yeah,
Um, I'm interested to see how all that works because it not only does it, I don't know, provide them exposure, but like then we have a gaming group and everyone wants to see like a gaming group
yeah,
and it makes it content. When me and you game together, like it makes it super easy to kick out content.
yeah. Well, and I don't
Um,
talk. Like if I stream myself, I don't talk. So like people are really good at talking
yeah.
during their stream. I am not one of them. So yeah,
If-
100%.
Even if even if we are decent at talking, like everyone goes silent. It's like a race, right? Like, yeah, you can sprint, you can do the 50-meter sprint, but like after that, everyone kind of gets exhausted by hour two of something. So,
Yeah. Schedule one is a good
whereas,
example of that.
yeah, yeah, we definitely got quiet, and same thing with RuneScape. Like towards the end of the third hour RuneScape, I was a little bit quieter. Luckily, we ran into a dungeon or something, but
Yeah.
um and then, yeah, furthermore on the website, obviously the clothing company, where you have then streamers that are it's like compounding. So
Yeah.
hopefully it just becomes like one big bundle of joy.
Well, and I like the idea of the group just for like group benefit. Everybody can
Yeah.
gain something from it or whatever. And if it boils down to the end of the day, we just do our podcast and we have a few videos that we put out of us,
Yeah.
and then everything else is kind of like own venture. I'm still
Yeah.
okay with that, like under the
Yeah.
same IP. You know what I mean? Everybody's
Yeah.
still benefiting. So
As long as it's like not crude, or yeah,
if it fits under
crazy.
the umbrella,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think I look forward to that. I think oh man, who was I talking to? Um Either way, I was talking to someone the other day, and they're like, "Well, do you think like you'll ever monetize anything?" And I was like, Quite honestly, I don't know. I mean, if I made enough to have someone mow my yard, that would be cool." Um, but for me, like the most important part about this that I've experienced so far is capturing moments that would not have been captured before. And that's what I'm really hoping that the improv can capitalize on as well. Um because like you said, we would improv over the phone and like dude, we never recorded that crap. Like
yeah,
We just did it.
we're a hell of a lot more funny in real life than we are here. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
part of like living, you know. But yeah, I agree with that.
And then, I mean, same thing for gaming. I don't know how many times we probably like clapped some cheeks in Overwatch or got our cheeks clapped. Uh,
Majority.
or like we just had a blast playing something, and then um like we just didn't capture it, man. And those moments are gone,
Yeah.
like tears in
Well,
the rain.
yeah. Well, and there's some part of that. If you remember, like when Discord got popular, anytime we'd game with a group, like it was my first thing. Like, hey, you guys cool if I stream? Like it was kind of
Yeah,
taboo,
yeah,
and I don't want that to be the case. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Because I always felt kind of like out of character, especially hopping into our friends' discords.
yeah,
And I'm not saying I'm trying to steal their share of their Discord community and stuff like that. It's just I feel more comfortable in ours because
yeah.
one can assume I'm either recording or streaming all the time in there.
I
You know what
agree.
I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, if you're in there, you kind of already have the idea that, like, that's what's going on in this channel.
Yeah.
And I'm on board, I agree, of, like, I wouldn't wanna, like, essentially monetize my friends, like, I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
record a game just to
I mean, I would almost go as far to say, depending on the platform, I would almost not monetize with a platform. I would rather
yeah,
run like ads that we approve,
yeah,
that are signed with us rather than, hey, YouTube's going to force feed a
yeah,
90-second ad down your throat, you know. Like no one enjoys that. I don't enjoy it.
political ad. Yeah, I agree. I think sponsors would be cooler, and then, yeah, you can kinda sort, especially if they're video game stuff, man. Like, I wouldn't want, like, gamer fuel and crap like that. Like, I'd be pretty picky on
Yeah.
and hopefully, like, 90% of it would just be us, you know, touting our own either clothing line or
And that's what it boils down to. I mean, the community decides that, right?
mhm,
Like no ads is possible if you have a
yeah,
supporting base where we're comfortable.
yeah.
So,
I think that's and it's just good. Like, yeah, you can have, like, group get-togethers, like, group streams, group everything, man. I get really jealous of, like, some of the other, like, OTK is the big one, obviously, but, like, some of those other groups where they have those benefits.
hell yeah. Got any other
Wow.
news?
No, that's all I got. I gotta go, to a kid's football game.
Nice. I guess we're having BLTs tonight, and it was the most excitement I've had in a long
Nice.
time. I'm stoked for it. So, cool. Well, I'm sure there's
Alright,
more to
brother.
come. We'll try to get some back end stuff done. Um, we'll have to give updates for that. I'd like to at least get the website and the clothing stuff figured out. It's just there's a lot of buy in to get to that point.
Yeah.
Like right now for our clothing line, if anything's ordered through the website that I gave you, it's just charging my card just for your
Yeah.
information.
I think, and this is just, like, off to get more buy-in, I think that we link the Discord below, and then we vote on what goes onto the website. And then we set time frames of like, all right, here's a poll. You pick between shirt A, shirt B. It's on the website for a month and it rotates out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be open to that. Or maybe
And
like
then yeah,
a
obviously they all
rotation of pick the shirt, pick the hoodie, pick one other thing, and then they
yeah.
rotate. Just so there's multiple
And,
things to choose from.
and there could be some constant studies of like the normal
Black.
crew neck
Yeah.
what's it called?
The
Like the
dead
big
fade.
sleep with the dead face.
Yeah. Yeah, that should just be bread and butter. Like that's it. I
Yeah.
do think we should have one that has words on it. At least one that just has the
The
like to get the name out. You know what I mean?
yeah. QR code.
Yeah, like one people can wear that actually like reps the group,
Yeah.
and then the
Nah,
rest,
agree.
yeah, the rest can be whatever. But
I mean, I think the hoodie's fine. Like, the hoodie you have, like it's subtle.
yeah, so cool. Well, thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Um, yeah, join the Discord. Even if you don't have Discord, make an account. It's not that bad.
Peace.
There it is. Little baby piece. Later.